All right, coming up next on Double Take Sports Talk with the Watch Brothers, we will have your Quiz-mania question of the day along with Double Take Sports Court, and then we will have predictions for tonight's games along with, wow, I just lost my train of thought. Quiz-mania answer, and then our final thoughts. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Double Take Sports Talk is next.
From Indianapolis, Indiana, this is the Double Take Sports Talk show with the Watch Brothers. And here they are, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Daryl and Darren Watts.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is it, Double Take Sports Talk. Welcome to our podcast with me, Darren Watts. Say hello to Darren Watts II. What's going on?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our podcast. Darren Watts, what's happening?
You know, this brand new day, new start, new everything.
Yep. As always.
Yep.
As always. Keeping them grinding and moving.
Yep, got to keep it moving. So, for today,
yes,
we have Quiz-mania question of the day. So, it's going to be interesting today. Well, let me not say interesting. It's going to be a different aspect today. We'll get into that momentarily. And then we'll have Double Take Sports Court. And then we'll have our predictions for tonight's games. And then we'll have the Quiz-mania answer, whatever. That's going to go for the day. And then final thoughts. So, you ready to do it?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. Quiz-mania question of the day. Daryl, when you are good and ready, the floor is yours.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to do a little something different with Quiz-mania today. What I want to do with Quiz-mania today is that it's still going to be a question-based type of Quiz-mania, but the only difference is it just won't be a right or wrong answer. So I'm going to put the question out there. It's just going to be opinionated based off of the question. So, of course, if anybody would be willing, of course, to participate in any sort, if anybody listening or watching in this podcast, you could just go to our social media sites on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, wherever our social media sites are, and just reply to it and just respond how you feel about, the question for today. So, with that being said, here's the Quiz-mania question of the day. Looking at how the Raiders' offseason has been thus far, how do you think John Gruden would do in his first season as head coach for the Oakland Raiders? So I'll repeat the question again. Looking at how the Raiders' offseason has been thus far, how do you think John Gruden would do in his first season as Oakland Raiders head coach? So, harp on that. Think about it. And, of course, we will share our thoughts and opinions. Anybody that's watching and listening, you can go to our social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and just let us know what you think about that Quiz-mania question. So we'll have our thoughts at the close to the end of our podcast. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Double Take Sports Court. So, there, whenever you're good and ready, which is sponsored by nobody, the floor is yours.
Absolutely. We always go by that motto, which is sometimes can be a good thing. All right, so today we're going to take a look at recaps of some of the last night's games and further review from the Thursday night recap. We're going to start with the Portland Trailblazers and the New Orleans Pelicans. First, let's talk about the Portland Trailblazers. Darryl, one quick question before we go more into this. New Orleans lead the Pelicans. New Orleans lead the Pelicans. What a brilliant thing to say.
What a brilliant thing to say.
Trailblazers, 3-0. Darryl, is this series over for the Trailblazers, or do they have a chance?
this series right here, New Orleans has shown that this is an auction. They've shown that, and this right here, this is possibly done. Portland can win one more game, and that's it. Or they could get swept.
Okay.
That's the furthest it's going to go.
Okay. So with that being said, C.J. McCollum had 22 points, played 33 minutes, and Damian Lillard had 20 points and played 35 minutes. And on the other flip side of that, Drew Holiday, 16 points and played 31 minutes. And Rajon Rondo had 16 points, played 28 minutes. Rajon Rondo also had 11 assists. Anthony Davis, 28 points, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks. And their win played 35 minutes. New Orleans is, some odd reason, is on fire. Durham, we talked about it. I believe it was on yesterday or the day before yesterday's podcast. We talked about the combined effort of Drew Holiday and Rajon Rondo and their ability to be able to be a productive backcourt along with the other elites of Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, Damian Lillard, and C.J. McCollum, which they are making them look completely like high schoolers. And there was one more. It was them. Now let's flip the script here and let's talk about Anthony Davis for a moment. Once again, 28 points, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks, and also had 3 steals and 2 assists. Anthony Davis is doing this under his own power with Nikola Mirotic. Without DeMarcus Cousins, how much of an impact have New Orleans had without DeMarcus Cousins before he got injured and after he got injured? Because obviously this is a much better team without DeMarcus Cousins. Very obvious.
Agreed. Yes, I agree. This shows right here that when Nikola Mirotic was with the Bulls, his production wasn't the same. And that showed you right there that either one, he wasn't happy, or two, he just really just wouldn't and couldn't compose and product like how he was supposed to. Now he's with the New Orleans Pelicans, new team, new environment, different of everything. Now it's taking a big effection on how he plays with Anthony Davis, Drew Holiday, Rajon Rondo. He has really made a big impact with this team. He's really ready. He looked like he was the one that actually replaced DeMarcus Cousins. So to me, this right here, with him having 30 points last night, 8 rebounds, and making some couple assists, and defense has really played a role for this team too. It has. So
absolutely.
This is a pretty big deal. This is a pretty big deal.
And since you say that, 16 steals, 4 blocks last night as a team as a whole, and allowed, and they committed 24 turnovers against the Trailblazers, whereas the Trailblazers only committed 12 against the Pelicans, which meant Pelicans had 12 turnovers, which is very low for a team that is actually doing good against a better team. New Orleans led as much as 33 in that game, and Portland only led as much as 2. So you're right, defense has made a big impact in that, but the lead has changed.
Defense made a big impact.
The lead changes have been 4 in the last night's game, and only 3 times has that game been tied. And they always have ran away with the lead after that. So when you look at that, how big of a role is that for them going on to the next round, if and when they do?
Let's take a look at this then. If New Orleans do win tomorrow night, I believe it is. It's either tomorrow night or Sunday night. If they win, they'll be facing the winner of Golden State and San Antonio. So of course it'll probably be Golden State. Yeah, it probably will be Golden State. Okay, it probably will be Golden State. So it probably will be New Orleans and Golden State. This will test Golden State's ability, especially the way that New Orleans has really produced as a team, offensively and defensively. This will show how New can really play. So this is going to be a test for Golden State because Stephen Curry is not going to be ready no time soon. So they're really going to have to up their game and up their defense.
Yeah.
So this right here for me, this is probably going to play a big pivotal role. New Orleans is going to have to play their game too. Golden State's going to have to show up also because this is not going to be no San Antonio Spurs team that you just faced.
Yeah, so. And I agree. So there you have it, the New Orleans Pelicans Portland Trailblazers game last night. Let's run over to Miami and let's talk about that Philadelphia 76er win, 128 to 108 last night. Take a look, a couple key stats for this game. Philadelphia led as much as by 20, and Miami led as much as by 5. Their longest run was 10. 13 times that game was tied, and there was 17 lead changes. Very interesting. And then on the other behalf of that, take a look at some quick stats like you said during the recap. Joel Embiid, 23 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks, 1 steal, played 30 minutes. And on the flip side of that, Dwayne Wade, let's say he really did not produce. 8 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, played 25 minutes. Goran Dragic, on the other hand, 23 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks. No, I'm sorry, no blocks. I'm looking at killing. And he played 27 minutes, 14 seconds. Is this series over for Miami? Even though it's just game 3, they still got 2 games. Is this series over for Miami? Can they pull off at least one more win or a drastic comeback to tie the series?
I think they can pull out one more win, but I don't think it's going to be in a tying effort. I really don't. Now, Miami, it seemed like most of these playoff teams, except Cleveland, has production all around.
Yeah,
players are performing well. They're putting up points. They're getting rebounds. They're getting assists and stuff like that. And Miami's no different. But and I'm just going to be honest about it. I'm going to be honest about it right now. The problem is Dwayne Wade. I'm not saying that he is a liability to the team, but what I am saying is that it's going to be a problem if he just only scoring 8 points. Now, he has shown throughout the playoffs that he can perform, score, and do all of that. He has shown the ability to do that. But with him from – what game was this? 3. From game 2, when they stole that game, he put up monster numbers of 28 points. You know, that type of up and down stats, it's not going to cut it. If you're going to produce every game, that's what you got to do. And that's what's going to hurt this Miami Heat team. That's just me and my personal opinion.
Absolutely. That game will be tomorrow night.
Right.
Switching over to the recap preview for the Indiana Pacers and the Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll quick at about 2.5 minutes here. Let's take a look at the series leaders for the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers. First, let's run down real quick this series. Pacers won game 1, 98-80, and then Cleveland won game 2 in a close one, 197, in a very close fashion, which is inexcusable in my personal opinion. LeBron James, 46 points.
Absolutely.
Cleveland ran away with that game, and Cleveland should not have looked back. For some odd reason, they looked back to see where the Pacers was at, and the next thing they knew, they was knocking on their doorstep. Victor Oladipo with 27 points in this, 27 points a game in this series. LeBron with 35. When you look at this, Durham, in this preview, look like the Pacers pretty much outmatch Cleveland. They got more rebounds than them. They average more assists than them. Steals, blocks, turnovers. They do better than the turnovers. Field goals, they do better than them all the way around. Very close, but they did all the way around. And that was the same thing in the regular season series, except that the Cavs scored more points because they played against more easier teams. When you look at that, Daryl, and when you sit down and you think about it, what can you say about Game 3? What do you look for in Game 3?
Changes. It's going to be a change within LeBron James, and I think Victor Oladipo. Mm-hmm. I think the Pacers are going to make that change to where Victor Oladipo is going to be on LeBron James most of the evening, even though that's going to be a potential mismatch. But the problem would be is that Victor Oladipo is still a defensive player.
Oh, yeah.
So when you have a defensive player against a guy that can score points, the defensive player could cause a nightmare for a man that scored 46 points.
But be very careful. So, you also remember that Victor Oladipo did get in foul trouble just by doing that on defensive efforts, so they got to be real careful about that.
Well, here's the thing with this. This is how I feel about this. If they want to keep Victor Oladipo out of foul trouble, then he cannot guard LeBron James. That's just how I feel about that.
All right. So there you have it. Pacers Cast tonight. You can catch that game on ESPN.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all see it on y'all screen. Y'all know what it's time for. And it's time for the 2K app predictions. Brought to you by Nobody.
That's right.
Yeah. Nobody. So there, we got 3 games on the docket. Whenever you're good and ready, the floor is yours.
All righty. 3 games today on the docket for April 20th, 2018. Let's get started. Daryl, game 1, game number 3. A lot of Pacers fans are very eager. We live in this town. Live in this town. So you know there's a lot
of people
that are very anxious about game 3 tonight. Bankers Life Fieldhouse. We have the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers. Daryl, using the 2K app when you are good and ready. Who do you have for the Cavs-Pacers game?
You already know. I don't care. I could lose the VC on this. I still got to rap. Blue and gold.
Blue and gold.
Still got to rap.
You know this. We said that I have a feeling they was going to win game 2, and that's exactly what they did. Now, game 3, I'm going to be dead out honest. I think the Pacers got this game beat without a shot of a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do think that George Hill is going to come up a little bit more as a serious player since he's back in Indiana. Just saying.
Yeah. You better hope his back don't give out on him.
No kidding. Well, the Pacers fans, you know how they are. Somebody former come into the building, they like to boom, curse at him, do everything, and that gets them fired up. So don't be surprised if you see that out of George Hill tonight.
Well, I'm going to tell you the only person they didn't do that to, David West. When he was with the Spurs and they came into town, they didn't do it to him. They did it to Paul George. They might do it to George Hill. Now, Roy Hibbert, I don't remember.
I don't remember Roy Hibbert either. I think Paul George was badmouth, and I think that's what got him that treatment. George Hill didn't badmouth. He just got traded. So, and then Larry Bird just, doing his thing and really didn't do his thing at the same time.
Yeah.
So, that's a whole story.
I know.
All right. Game 2. Game number 3. Got the Toronto Raptors and the Washington Wizards. Man, this is not even a series for me, Daryl. When you are
no, it's not.
Yeah, when you are good and ready using the 2K app, who do you have for the Raptors Wizards game?
Taking it to the Raptors. Let's move on from this. This ain't even a series.
No, it is not. The only way it would be a series if it's game 5 tied to 2 apiece. That's when it's a series.
Agreed.
All right, and game number three, between the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm very disappointed with this Bucks at this time for them not even putting in competition at this point.
So am I.
Daryl, using the 2K app when you are good and ready, who do you have for the Celtics Bucks game?
You already know. I'm going to go ahead with the Celtics.
Me too, and I picked the Celtics without a shadow of a doubt. Tip-off is at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, them are the three games. Daryl, let's submit our votes. Let 2K
submit the votes.
Those folks know.
Cha-ching.
There it is. It has been received. Votes has been received. It is locked. We cannot change our answers. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, them are your predictions for tonight's game for April 20th, 2018.
Whew, I had to catch myself because I'm just very going to final thoughts. To catch myself. Okay. Okay. All right. So, earlier in the podcast, we discussed, I gave out the question for Quiz-mania, the question of the day. Once again, of course, this is just an opinionated Quiz-mania question for the day. This is just something I wanted to do differently today. So this is not going to be a right or wrong answer. So, with that being said, I will repeat this question again. Looking at the Raiders offseason thus far, how do you think John Gruden would do in his first season as the Oakland Raiders head coach? I keep wanting to say athletics, but I have to catch myself on that too.
Yeah. Here's my thing. Most head coaches, when they take over a coaching position, usually have the responsibility of rebuilding. Most head coaches don't do very good in their first year cleaning up and building that empire that they want to build, because they still got to have people adjust to their system and the different things they want to do. John Gruden's first year as the Oakland Raiders head coach, he went 8-8, even season. The only time that John Gruden did not have to clean up like that was when he replaced Tony Dungy and won the Super Bowl. He went 12-4 that year. There was no rebuilding. There was nothing that he had to do to really get them, per se, rebuild. He lost, and I believe this is the right statement. I'm not sure. Yeah, that is the right statement. I could say, yep, he did lose to Tony Dungy's Colts in that classic Monday night game after blowing a 21-0 lead.
And that was on Dungy's birthday.
That was Dungy's birthday. That's the coach that he replaced. And to me, he's not going to do good his first season. He's not going to do good. That's just me personally. He's not going to do good. I don't think he's that patient, because he had the honor of coming in to a great team in Tampa Bay to automatically win a Super Bowl in his first year. I don't think he's that patient. When he was with Oakland the first time, 8-8, and then following year, 8-8. But then went 12-4 the next year, 10-6 the next year, and then that's when he went to Tampa Bay. He went there, he was in the middle, went up, and then went right down. I don't think he's going to do that.
Okay. That's very interesting that you say that. Go into this real quick. Now, although with how the Raiders have dealt with a lot of things during the offseason, get rid of the most productive punter, in my personal opinion, in the league.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're sending a message of some sort about him when you actually did toss him, or whatever. And all this other stuff that they made. Do you actually believe, what is your honest opinion about how this will affect the Raiders season? How you think this will affect? Do you think there's some tension going on? Or How do you think this is going to affect the Raiders, going into, training camp into the season?
I see a little bit of intimidation. I see a little bit of that.
Agreed.
The one thing you don't want to do is always show yourself off as egotistic and intimidation. And I think he started out wrong. And I think he should have had a better approach about doing certain things. So I see a lot of tension going into training camp. I see a lot of issues going into training camp because you have to remember you're dealing with different personalities. And there are a ton of them on that team. You might see one or two that are the same, but then there's a lot of them that are different, including your own, John Group. So I just don't see everything clicking off real well. Right.
Like, neither do I. Now, although he did do good analysis with his, QB camp and stuff like that, that's stuff that you give credit where credit's due. So at the same time, you just have to look at that initiative. And sometimes things just don't work out for the best either. And I agree with you, and I agree with everything that you just said too. So that right there pinpoints everything. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So that was the Quiz-mania question of the day. Of course, if you was willing to participate, if you're listening and watching this podcast, just go ahead and just hit us up on the social media sites and let us know what you think about that. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, that was your Quiz-mania for April 20th, 2018. All right, final thoughts. There, you got something for us?
Absolutely nothing.
Neither do I, man. Neither do I. So, that being said, nothing else being said, anything in particular, we can wrap this up and get on out of here.
Yeah.
All righty, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is another edition of Double Take Sports Talk. If you like what you see, give this video a thumbs up. How you feel about today's show? You comment on the comment section below as usual. We're on social media sites on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can hit us up there. You can ask us anything you like. We're here. We're active. And just let us know. And if you like them, we'll probably share them on our recordings on the air. We're also on iTunes, audio purposes only. If you like that, you can download our episodes there. But until then, I'm Daryl. Daryl's on the opposite side.
Yep.
All right, catch up with us on another episode of Double Take Sports Talk. Until then, ciao. Sports Talk here with me, Daryl Watts. Now, there's an understatement that always goes, that has always been true from day one when sports decided to come out. It's that it can be very unpredictable. And of course, that's always been the statement. That's always been so true. And depending on how you look at it, it can be very unpredictable. But with Double Take Sports Talk, we just throw some entertainment in there. Even if we don't get predictions right or theories don't come out right, we always just throw a little entertainment into the mix. So why not just have a little fun with it? That's how predicting can be so fun if you make an entertainment out of it. But other than that, of course, I'm all for it. But anyway, we're on social media around the globe here. We're on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can hit us up on our fan page at the Watch Brothers. You can hit us up on Twitter at DTST2414. And, of course, you can hit us up on Instagram, Double Take Sports Talk. So, YouTube, subscribe. You can share. You can do all the good stuff. Do anything that you like. We're just trying to grow a podcast here, folks. We're also on the iTunes. You can download our episodes there. We're on the video, of course, and we're on the audio portion too. So either way that you can enjoy this podcast, you can do it audio, we do it on video. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the podcast. Until then, ciao.